Oh, Diarmuid, Diarmuid, Diarmuid. Knight of Fianna, boar victim, and self-impalement specialist. Ireland's second unluckiest Lancer is easily the worst 3-star servant in his class in Fate's Grand Order. But what is it that makes him so bad? And can he be saved? Welcome to How to Solve a Problem Like Diarmuid or Dinah. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment and subscribe to keep up to date with new videos. Okay, let's go. Diarmuid's kit can broadly be described as a bit haywire. He doesn't really have one specific niche. Instead, different parts of his kit do different things. Very much a crap at everything, master of nothing kind of servant. Looking at his skills, they are a discombobulated mess, somehow being less than the sum of their parts, which is particularly impressive because each on its own is crap. So what sort of roles do they allow this poor man to play? Well, his first skill doesn't really tell us much. Mind's Eye, true. Unfortunately, this is the bad kind of evade. Mind's Eye False, possessed like servants like Okita Soji, Heracles, and Sasaki Koldro, you know, actually good servants, comes with a healthy 3-turn critical damage buff. Mind's Eye True, on the other hand, has a 3-turn defensive buff accompanying the evade. While this might be useful for some servants who need survivability, like Chevalier Deon, it's not so useful for damage dealers like Diarmuid, so this doesn't really tell us much, aside from the fact he has some survivability. So what about his second skill, Love Spot rank C, the infamous Love Spot that attracts all women to Diarmuid? Unless they have magic resistance C or higher, that is. The effect of this in-game is to greatly reduce the attack of all female enemies for 1 turn, which is nice, but he doesn't have any other anti-female traits. So while some people might claim he has an anti-female niche, he really doesn't. It's one effect that lasts for 1 turn, with nothing else to back it up. Without a wider anti-female kit, it lacks utility and its effect is already quite niche as it is. And finally, there's Knight Strategy rank B, the king of skills that look good on paper and do nothing in practice. As I discussed in my Chaldea Lowlights episode on Diarmuid, which you can find in the card above, this is a star generation skill that generates no stars. Diarmuid is a poor star generator. This skill does not fit that. So what we've learned is that Diarmuid's skills all do different things, and don't really tell us much about what his actual niche is. So maybe his Noble Phantasm will offer some answers, because, surprisingly, his NP is actually good. It does solid damage, and comes with a nice buff removal. However, when we already have Medea, and other servants who can do this with a skill, we don't really need Diarmuid. Not to mention, his NP gain is rather middling, and he lacks any form of NP gain buff. And considering his most useful asset is tied to his Noble Phantasm, which is difficult to access without outside help, you get the picture. He doesn't really have a proper niche, just hints of a niche. He needs something else. So, how can we fix this? How do you solve a problem like Diarmuid or Dinah? So here are 3 alternative future Diarmuids. Leave in the comments which of the trio you think is preferable, and suggest some alternatives of your own. Let's look at the first option.
Zashu.
The simplest way to buff Diarmuid is to turn him into a standard single-target boss killer. This is quite boring, but efficient. His Noble Phantasm already does decent damage, so let's just buff it some more. Now it already has an excellent 2400% multiplier at NP5, and has already been buffed from rank B to B+ in the past, so although in JP they have started giving multiple buffs to Noble Phantasms, I don't think this is the way it could be done. Instead, I propose a buff to his Noble Phantasm by buffing his third skill, Knight Strategy rank B, to Knight of Fianna rank B+. In practical terms, this would leave his star generation buff unchanged, but add a 3-turn buff to his NP gain, in addition to a 3-turn NP damage buff, committing him to being a single target boss killer by improving his Noble Phantasm damage, which is already quite impressive, as well as his ability to actually access it. But as I said, this is probably the most boring option, being quite a mundane upgrade. Let's look at a second scenario. Instead of simply lowering female enemies' attack, let's turn Diarmuid into an anti-female specialist. Sort of the Queen Maeve, but for females. That actually sounds pretty bad. Forget I said that. This revolves around upgrading the Love Spot skill from rank C to B, because Diarmuid doesn't deserve an A rank skill. This would extend the attack debuff from 1 turn to 3, and in addition, add a crucial 3-turn defensive debuff to all enemies between 20 and 30%. Let's not get too crazy with the numbers here, it's still a 3-star we're talking about. Also, many people have argued the skill should have a charm, and I agree. This would allow Diarmuid to be an excellent anti-female servant, who also provides solid support for the team. This is because the debuffs would apply to the enemy as opposed to it being a buff for Diarmuid. This fits in with his lore. After all, his love spot entrances females, essentially debuffing them in terms of gameplay. It doesn't buff himself. This gives Diarmuid something of a useful niche that we haven't really seen, some sort of anti-female support kit. Makes him a specialist against the plethora of female enemies in Faith's Grand Order. The final route for Diarmuid is to make him into a fully fledged critical damage dealer. Now this niche is already a little crowded amongst the 3-star Lancers, but let's see what we can do. This would entail another rank up of his Knight strategy skill, into Chivalrous Knight rank B. This would add a 3-turn critical damage buff of between 20 and 40%, in addition to a critical star gather rate buff for that same period, instantly turning Diarmuid into an effective, low rarity critical damage dealer. So which of these fixes for Diarmuid do you prefer? Or maybe you have one of your own? Leave it in the comments section below. Overall, I think there are numerous ways to improve him. Though of course, I suppose there is one easy fix. I've been Dunes, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment and subscribe, and feel free to check out my most recent video on Arjuna Alta, the Titan who will be arriving in the game soon following the release of Lost Belt 4. Alternatively, if you want to look at some free-to-play servants who are actually good already, check out 3-star Superstars. I've been Dunes, thank you for watching, and see you soon.